Out to the Yingling hotline we go. We bring in Mayor Thomas McDermott from Hammond. Mr. Mayor, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Thanks, guys. It's a pleasure to be on your show. I'm a fan, so thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank you. You guys feel like you really have the attention of Illinois lawmakers at this point?
We definitely have the attention of Illinois lawmakers at this point. I think everybody knows that Illinois realizes that the threat from Indiana is real, and they have been rallying over the last few days, and, I'm obviously paying very close attention. But yeah, we definitely got their attention.
When did you start putting this plan together? Your office, your community. When did it start to really come together as a very viable option for the Bears?
Thanksgiving. This has been going on for a few months in Hammond, and I would like to say that I'm this brilliant mayor that pitched it to the Bears, and they were completely interested in my pitch, but that's not the way it worked out. It was exactly the opposite. The Bears were interested in Hammond and approached us, and I was beyond thrilled, to be honest with you. And even the area that they're talking about is, it's a beautiful part of our city, and, it's not going to be easy to get rid of that part of the city, the Lost Marsh and that area around there. And, because everybody loves the green space and everybody loves the golf course and what it brings to our community. But a project of this magnitude is a dream for any mayor or any community. So obviously we'd be willing to do whatever it took.
Yeah. Besides the proximity to the city of Chicago, does Hammond have any other advantages?
I mean, proximity to Chicago is obviously the most important thing, I think, to the Bears. But we also, so the fact that you could be 20 to 25 minutes by car from Soldier Field and get all the business advantages you get from being a Hoosier company as opposed to a company from Illinois, I think that's really what's making the Bears salivate at the thought of being in Wolf Lake and Hammond and getting all the advantages of being a Hoosier business, but still being so close to downtown. I ride my bike from my house to Soldier Field a few times every summer.
Really?
On a bike, it's an hour plus, and it's all bike trail. So we have train lines connecting us. It's a very easy commute. So,
in layman's terms, what's the funding mechanism look like, and how do you ensure that taxpayers in Indiana don't have to foot the bill for the Bears?
But, I think that if the Bears choose Indiana, the taxpayers will be, to some extent, supporting the stadium. It'd be naive to say otherwise. The state of Indiana has to be involved in a project of this magnitude for it to happen. If the state of Indiana wasn't involved in Lucas Oil Field in Indianapolis, Lucas Oil Field would have never been built. And just like if this is going to happen and the Bears are going to build their next Soldier Field in Hammond, Indiana, it's got to be through the state's assistance. And I've heard other proposals that rely on private money, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I seriously doubt that's ever going to come to fruition. A $5 billion deal without state money, I seriously doubt that would ever come to fruition.
You have the support, you think, of constituents and things like that? People are okay with that? I know you mentioned what happened in Indianapolis, but as far as you guys can, and I don't know how you go about gauging stuff like this, but the interest from the community is real, and you think taxpayers are willing?
I'm not going to tell you that everybody in Hammond would be thrilled with it, but my job isn't to get 100% of the people on board. My job is to get a good majority of the people on board. I always say 51%, but I don't like operating with those close margins. If I could get 60% or above of Hammond residents to think a deal like that's a good deal, I'm willing to take the gamble.
With a lot of these proposals.
And I think the state is too. And that's, I'm not trying to, interrupt you. I apologize.
No, that's okay.
I think one of the most important parts of this project, if the Bears come to Indiana, I'm telling you, it's going to be Hammond. And I know it's going to be Hammond. And I respect my fellow mayors and I respect the pitches that they're all making. But, I could want to date Taylor Swift, and my wife's listening, and I don't want to date Taylor Swift. But if you did want to date Taylor Swift, it doesn't matter if Taylor Swift doesn't want to date you. It's just one person wants to date Taylor Swift. It's never going to happen. So the fact is this: you could pitch your city and you could pitch this project, but if the Bears aren't interested in it, it's not going to happen. So the Bears want Hammond, and Hammond wants the Bears, and the state of Indiana is on board with Hammond. And that's the most important part. I can't do this on my own. The mayor, Tom, doesn't have the pull to get this deal done by himself. But Governor Braun, and Senator Mishler and Speaker Houston, they got the pull to get it done along with Mayor Tom. And I dare say, I think we're all on the same page, those leaders and myself.
Every plan that we see has some sort of elaborate structures around the stadium itself. What else would be going up besides just the stadium in Hammond, Indiana?
It'll be Bearsville, where the Lost Marsh Golf Course is right now. It'll be Bearsville. It'll be hotels, restaurants, stadium. It'll be a complete renovation of that entire area with a massive infusion of infrastructure. Massive infusion of infrastructure. 9 figures worth of infrastructure improvements done to that entire area.
Timeline-wise, we're talking to the mayor of Hammond. Thomas McDermott joins Carmen and Yurko on ESPN Chicago. Timeline-wise, it's getting close. The session in Indianapolis ends at the end of this month. Will there be a resolution one way or another if this bill goes through, and you guys will know for certain what you can propose to the Bears? I mean, are we talking about some sort of certainty in the next couple of weeks here?
I know that Speaker Houston is not, and he's a great leader. He's Republican from Fishers, okay? And Republicans in Indiana aren't typically for tax increases. And if they are going to vote for a tax increase, and if the speaker is going to make his caucus vote on a tax increase, he wants to make damn sure that the Bears are serious about coming to Indiana. He's not going to just have his caucus vote symbolically and then have the Bears run away back to Arlington Heights.
Right.
So if you see a bill going forward in Indiana, that's a very good sign that the speaker got the assurance he wanted, because the speaker is not going to do this. Speaker Houston is not going to do this unless he hears it from the Bears that we're willing to move to Indiana. And if they don't tell him that, he's not going to move forward and this thing dies. And it dies for every community, because that means the state's not on board. And all due respect to all my fellow mayors, if the state of Indiana is not on board, this ain't happening. It's just not. That's just realistic. It's a $5 billion deal. You can't do that without state assistance. You just can't.
Do the Bears get the football revenue?
I'm not sure of the exact details, because quite frankly, I'm not in charge of the details. I'm an important player because I have the real estate that the Bears want. Okay. But I can't do this on my own. This has to be done through Speaker Houston. It's got to be done through Senator Mishler. It's got to be done through Governor Braun, and they're the ones that are working these details out.
Were you there when Commissioner Goodell toured the facility last month, or toured the property? Excuse me.
I was aware of it.
Okay.
I wasn't there, but I was aware of it.
Okay.
And we were definitely in communication at that point. And I thought that was a great sign when Commissioner Goodell toured the Lost Marsh facility in Hammond. That's where he toured. It
was the Lost Marsh facility, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
To your knowledge, was that the only one, Mr. Mayor? Was that the only one in Indiana that they visited that day?
Yes.
Okay.
But I know the Bears looked at multiple different pieces of property, and they picked that one. I know that for a fact. So it's not like the Bears didn't look in Portage. It's not like the Bears didn't look in Gary. It's not like the Bears didn't look in East Chicago. They did. They looked all over Northwest Indiana, and they picked the Lost Marsh. I imagine because it's the closest available space to Soldier Field, where they can get the advantages of being a Hoosier company, and they could still be close to downtown Chicago.
Yeah. We're our own media market. Indianapolis is separate, and I think the league views it that way quite clearly. There wouldn't be – some people have wondered, well, would the league view this as an infringement upon the Colts? Would Colts ownership view it that way? Would you anticipate any pushback or any infighting when you get around the state, when you get central Indiana or downstate, in terms of, what it might be like from a political standpoint, if people feel like this would be infringing upon territory that it belongs to the Indianapolis Colts? Have you guys thought about that at all?
I know that the Colts have been consulted.
Okay.
I don't want to speak for the Colts. I don't want to speak for the governor, but I know that they've been consulted, and from what I've been made aware of it, they've been green-lighted on this, but we've been green-lighted. And as you guys know, Northwest Indiana is Bears territory.
Right.
And, we're the stepchild of Indiana anyway, and Northwest Indiana is Bears territory. So we don't, we're also Bulls territory. We don't pull for the Pacers up here. We don't pull for the Colts. We pull for the Bears. We pull for the Bulls. This is, for all intents and purposes, Chicago, but we're in Indiana.
You talked about that multi-billion-dollar investment that could happen, and the growing infrastructure around the stadium and everything that comes with it these days. It's more than just a stadium. We all know that. Do you find real, concrete evidence in any data collection you've done that says, yes, this is a huge benefit to the community? Economists usually argue otherwise, but do you feel like it would be great for your community?
I do. I guess it depends on your perspective, because let me make something clear, guys. I love the city of Chicago. I go to the city of Chicago once or twice a week. That's one of the main reasons I chose Hammond as my home. I wanted to be close to Chicago, okay? So I think if you're in downtown Chicago and you're looking at the benefit of a stadium, you already have everything in Chicago. You have Ruth's Chris, you have great theater, you have plenty of entertainment options. But in Northwest Indiana, if we dropped that stadium in the Lost Marsh, they would build those hotels, they would build those restaurants, the things that we don't have right now. So I think it really depends on your perspective on what kind of effect it's going to have on your community. I think if you're in a beautiful city like Chicago, you already got all that stuff. But over here in the region, we don't have a lot of that stuff. And if we build that stadium here, we'll have a Ruth's Chris right here in Hammond. We'll have brand new hotels, 20-story hotels going up right here in Hammond. And so I guess it really depends on where you live and where you sit.
Yep.
When you answer that question.
All right, Mr. Mayor, we appreciate the time. Good luck as this thing advances. And it seems to be pretty far down the line. I mean, it does start, it really does feel that way, and not just some sort of, I think 2 months ago, when a lot of us first heard about it, we're like, oh, yeah, the Bears, Northwest Indiana, that's not going to happen. I don't know. My perspective seems to have changed here a little bit in the last 8 or 10 weeks. It does feel a little bit more real than maybe anybody at first thought.
I've been telling him, Mayor. I tried to tell him. It's real.
Yep. I think we're the underdogs. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the Bears spent $300 million on property in Arlington Heights.
Right.
But if the Bears move to Indiana, they're going to move to Hammond.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
All right, Mr. Mayor, thanks. We appreciate the time. Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Guys. Take
All
care.
right, there's Mayor Tom McDermott from Hammond, Indiana, that it's going to be Hammond or bust. If they do move, then they got a sweetheart deal for the Bears. You cool with that? You paying taxes? You pay taxes in Indiana?
Yeah, I've got no problems.
Really?
My taxes are very reasonable in the state of Indiana.
Not so much anymore when you got to pay for the Bears' new stadium.
Well, I showed you the taxes when I bought my Chick-fil-A downstairs. Told you how much I save.
It is a lot of sales tax. That's sales tax.
You heard what he said, that Northwest Indiana is like the stepchild of the state of Indiana.
That's from the mayor of Hammond. That was a direct quote.
That's a direct quote.
And he goes, we cheer for the Bulls, not the Pacers.
Listen, I've got to work with the other side. If this is going to happen, we're working with the other side. And if they're not behind it, guess what? Nobody's going to be behind it.
They're giving the Bears the sweetheart deal they've been looking for.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
That is what it sounds like,
Doesn't
it?
Yes.
And again, he said we're the underdog.
He did say that.
We are the underdog.
And I think even though it feels more real, I think we'd all agree. Arlington Heights is the favorite, clearly.
If they're going to leave the state of Illinois, Mayor McDermott feels like the one site they're going to come to is Hammond, Indiana.
They picked it. The Bears did.
Right.
And they reached out to him.
Yes.
That stuck out to me the most from that interview.
Around Thanksgiving.
That the Bears reached out to Hammond, not the other way around. Because you see the Portage pitch, and you're thinking, all right, the Bears they're trying to pitch the Bears.
Well, and
the Bears chose Hammond.
All the other municipalities that have tried it, whether they've been in Illinois or otherwise. The Bears reached out to him. They picked that site, and it was, I think he said it was Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
It was right. And then about 3 weeks later, the Bears publicly announced that they are expanding their search to include Northwest Indiana. They're holding rallies in Arlington Heights now. So they're feeling the heat a little bit.
Well,
they had a rally last night.
They need to put all the mayors of Indiana in the ring.
I'd just
like
put
the
them in the
Royal Rumble.
Coliseum.
Just
put them in the Coliseum, Jim.
Right, there you go.
Throw
there
a couple of lions in there, too. Let's see what happens.
Throw some chairs in there.
Go nuts.
I've been around. They all work well together.
I understand.
They work with the county. They work with,
They have to. Right?
That's the bastion of Democrats are in that corner up there. Mm-hmm. In that corner right underneath Lake Michigan, right next to Chicago.
Yeah.
And then you've got yourself some in Indianapolis, too. You got yourself a block down there that is certainly...
You won't think it's a little saltiness if, let's just say, if the Bears did decide to move and they went to Hammond and Portage is... would they be a little salty?
No, I think they're happy to get their hat in the ring. I think
so,
they're
too.
happy to put some stuff together. They got a group. They got investors. They got, hey, listen, this is the way we can do it. Take a look. Here we are. And at the end of the day, it's the 11th hour at that point. You know that you're throwing a Hail Mary. Hail Mary's connect.
If Hammond's an underdog, Portage knows they're even long. Their odds are even longer.
But listen, Hail Marys connect every once in a while. You throw the ball up from the 50. Yeah. It goes off the hands of somebody and right into the hands of somebody else. They connect every once in a while.
Every once in a while.
At least you've invited yourself to the dance.
Yeah.
You're at the dance. I don't know if you're going to get chosen to go on the dance floor, but you're at least at the dance at this point.
I like what he said about
Makes
winning
sense.
approval, too. He said, look, I'm not going to get 100%. Of course not. You're not going to get 90%. You're not going to get 80%.
Right.
He said, if I can get to 60, I feel like I'm happy and I'm doing my job. Because there certainly will be a contingent that is not going to like the fact that they would have to increase their taxes to pay for a Bears new stadium.
Now that it's
But
happened, great deflection.
Yeah.
It
Canada just
happened a
scored.
while ago,
Yeah.
so I can sit there and say what a great deflection.
Late in
that
the
was.
first period, was that Macklin Celebrini?
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like Canada has just tallied first late in the first against the Czech Republic in their first game.
I don't know if it went off
the
a
line.
stick or just a body up front. You know, you throw it at the net. Isn't that what they always say?
Pucks to net, Yurko.
Puck,
Yeah,
throw
it's
it at
Celebrini
the
right.
net.
It's Macklin Celebrini right in front. Oh my God, that's beautiful.
There's no high stick.
No high sticking? Was
No
it
high
above the
stick?
crossbar? I don't think so. Oh, this is beautiful. This kid is so good.
No,
that
just
looks good. That's a
underneath.
clean
Yeah.
goal.
Just underneath.
He's 19.
Yeah.
He's 19. He's playing in the Olympics for Team Canada. He's so good. 312-332-3776. It's Carmen and York. We'll be right back.